dig a little below those 4 pillars, can you tell us some of the critical reforms you introduced for teachers, for principals, and any of the others that you think are really important?
Mhm.
Because South Africa's wrestling with a lot of this as well.
So let me mention a couple of things. One is, and I think the most important, is the implementation of the teachers' reform, which was basically a shift from a situation in which sometimes the selection of teachers and of principals and their promotion was either based on politics, or promotion sometimes was based on just pure tenure, or having just papers that show that they have done some training that you don't know if it was useful or not. So the key thing there was to take politics out of any discussion about how to handle your human resource within the education sector. So then the selection of teachers was totally meritocratic. So there was an examination, which we can talk about the characteristics of that examination. Is a complicated process, right? In order to select teachers, where you're talking about thousands of people that must be selected. And then also introduce teachers' assessments in order to promote teachers. So it was a shift towards a completely meritocratic career. And second, also, it was to the idea of giving much more weight to the principal, right? Unfortunately, as in many countries, many Latin American countries, or in other regions as well, principals are usually either politically selected or the teacher with more tenure, right? And none of those things will ensure that that person would be the right leader that you need in order to manage an institution that is so complicated as a school, right? Sometimes there's not that recognition that managing a school is extremely difficult, right? You're managing the lives of 1,000 kids, right? Of a body of 30, 40 teachers. You need to handle the community. You need to handle the parents. It's a very tough job, right? So you need a person that has the motivation, that have the skills, and also you provide them the right training in terms of managerial and leadership abilities. So those two things, I think, were absolutely critical. The whole meritocratic reform regarding teachers, the selection of principals in a completely different way. And another important element was that focus on learning. Peru, I was fortunate that several years ago, since 2007, Peru had a very strong measure units that did learning assessments and measurement. So Peru had census-based learning data since 2007 or 8. And that's something that we used a lot, right? In terms of making sure that all schools will know the data about their own levels of learning, right? And their own trajectory of the levels of learning. So our measurement of learning was not a sample to see where the country is, but it was a census in which we'll know exactly where each school is, right? So those were a couple of features that I think were important.
Very interesting.